who is closer to a premiership, North Melbourne or Richmond?
And this people might disagree
Go.
with this.
I don't-
Yeah, I still think North Melbourne, and the reason why I think North Melbourne is because Richmond have six guys, 6, 7, 8 guys that triple premiership players are reaching towards the end of their career. North Melbourne have an abundance of young players and plenty of players progressing into the mature age category. North Melbourne have been incredibly disappointing. However, with that being said, they still have just not frequently shown some really impressive glimpses. And I think that if they stick at it and they continue to challenge one another, that they will eventually be able to progress. And I do think that they're closer to a premiership than Richmond.
I'm going to go against you and say Richmond are closer. And I hope North are. But I think Richmond have already gotten like the best out of themselves. North have had the young talent and they've progressed over the last couple of years, and Richmond probably a couple of years behind that. Richmond are going to get 2 top 5 picks again this year on top of the 6 first rounders they got last year. That is so much talent they've already showed signs like Trainer, Lawler, Armstrong unfortunately is injured, but like Jonty Ford was good. They get Josh Smillie back eventually.
So if you take Nankervis, Short, Floston, Broad, Lynch, that's 5. Taranto, Hopper is 7. McIntosh.
How long does a rebuild take? I think a rebuild, like, if this is the first year of a rebuild, I think it takes 6-7 years.
Right. So
Taranto could be there. Taranto would be 32. Could be there.
He's 27, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I feel like he was best and fairest 2019, second year, so
he'd
debut
be
18.
26, 27, I would say. I feel like if we take away all of Richmond's experienced and mature players, and we presume that those voids are going to be filled with new draftees, North are going to be 4 years.
Yeah,
ahead.
okay, but look at what Hawthorn have done. Like, you didn't, like let's say 3 years ago, you wouldn't say, it's all right, you wouldn't say, oh, like Bruce, Gunston, even Amon is going to like be there for your next premiership push. But, you start to develop a little bit, you start to show some signs, you progress pretty quick, and then you attract. You attract Tom Barras, you attract Josh Battle.
So I think that will be the case.
And Richmond are a big club.
Yeah.
Players will want to go to Richmond. Like,
I
look
agree.
at Tom Lynch.
I agree. Yeah, I'm still reasonably optimistic with North Melbourne. I think that I can't ignore the positive signs seen against Melbourne last year.
I can ignore it because Melbourne was so bad, and I just don't think.
No, but I still think North. So you're saying, despite you don't think they were
they
impressive?
they were very impressive. I think Melbourne were terrible, and I think if those signs were real, then I think they would have showed more in the next 3 weeks.
I agree. 100%. And there's no argument for against that and their performance. But yeah,
there's no wrong
I
answer.
suppose I still have optimism around North Melbourne, around the talent that they have and their ability to build on that talent. And that's not to say that there isn't any optimism around Richmond. I just think that Richmond's crop of players are just 3 years younger, 3 years behind.
Cool.
Yeah.